Welcome back to At the Heart of Health. We're learning about healing. We're also learning about love. Jill and her family, they've been sharing their remarkable story about healing from neuroblastoma. Jill, it's been interesting, and just to recap things, it sounds like late last year you found out about this devastating illness. They made the diagnosis. Treatment has begun. My question to you, I don't think I could have coped that well. What kind of mechanisms did you have in your life to cope with all of this that's going on you? How did you make it through it without going crazy?
I think the answer to that is prayer, and leaning on God. There was nowhere else for us to go but to fall to our knees and pray. And we had numerous people praying for us, with us.
Now, when you say numerous people, what do you really mean, numerous people?
We had people all over the world praying for us. We have a website that we have used to update people about Ashley Kate, and from people forwarding on that website, we got people all over the world. We got soldiers in Iraq who were praying for us, and you think, well, what a sacrifice. They're over there fighting for us, but they're praying for us.
Now tell me about this website, because there might be other families over here that want to hear about this website. It seems like that was a big support.
It was. It's called Caring Bridge.
And what is Caring Bridge? What did you do? Did you have to, submit stuff? Is there a webmaster? How did you work with Caring Bridge?
It's a website where you can go and sign up, and you create your own web page from it, and they walk you through it. It's very user-friendly, but it's for families who have children with illnesses, adults with critical illnesses, terminal, any kind of, any tragedy, where you can keep people updated and kind of keep linked to family and friends.
So how often would you journal or write down your experiences?
I tried to do it daily, because that was kind of my way of dealing with everything, is writing it down and writing down my feelings and what I was going through.
Now, did you just stick to the medical, or did you get to the personal aspects of the...
Very personal. I put...
Yeah, because the whole world is reading this, right?
But to understand what we're going through, you have to understand what was happening in our hearts. And so I did not have a problem putting that out there.
And that helped you through this? And I guess people could write back with their responses.
People can leave messages, and that was so helpful to us, because when on a bad day, we couldn't wait to get up and go look at the computer and see what messages people had left. And it was always, we're praying for you, we're there for you.
And they're still there, right?
Yes.
Can other people see some of the things?
Yes, they can.
Well, what a great testimony for all the people that now, how would you hear about that? Now, for someone in Iraq, if they didn't know you, would they just happen to stumble on that?
I think probably the way it happened is people forwarded the email on saying, please pray for our friends. These are people we've heard about. This is a website where you can go and read more about them.
So you had now, I heard that at one time you had a lot of people come over to your house and pray for you. Tell me about that.
We did. We had a really good friend organize a prayer for us, and we had no idea. And she had just called and said, hey, be up at 8 o'clock, dressed. We're going to have breakfast. I'm bringing donuts over. I answered the door, and I looked out, and there were 80 people in our front yard, and they made a prayer circle around our house, and they prayed for us.
Wow. Now, that had to really encourage you as far as all this. Now, you've talked about prayer and how you fell back on God. How has your relationship with God and your spiritual journey, how's it changed over the last months if you've gone through all this?
I think it strengthened it. You cannot go through what we've gone through and not feel closer to God for what He's brought you through. We value each day. Each day is a gift from God, and there are no guarantees for tomorrow. So we look at every moment as precious.
Now, Jill, I've worked with some families as a cardiologist that when something bad happens, they get angry at God or angry at the world. It seems like your family did not have this happen.
Well, we really didn't go through why me, why Ashley Kate. It was more of, let's get through this. We're gonna do this. Let's get through it, and totally giving it to God.
Now you have Ashley Kate has an older brother named John. Jackson. How's Jackson been doing?
Jackson has done remarkable. He's very supportive of her. there have been some times where he felt that she was a little bit of a celebrity because she has a website. They did several newspaper articles about her, and that's been a little hard on him because he wants the attention too.
Now, is there things that he can do special to, because that would be very traumatic if little sister has all this attention, all this happening. What are you guys doing to help him realize that, you know, what he's feeling is a normal thing to feel, and it's okay, and we're going to get through this? Is there any special counseling or treatment that he's been receiving for all this?
Well, in my research on the internet, I found a website called Super Sibs.
Okay.
And it is an organization that caters to siblings of cancer patients. And they send him things several times a month. They'll, you know, little treats and little cards, and they send him a trophy for being a great sibling. And when it just makes him feel special, like he counts, he matters in this whole process. Well,
I guess you discovered that, like most people, that when we're talking about health and healing, you know, it's just not one person that has the illness. I know if my little girl had the illness, I would rather have the illness myself than feel her pain. And families don't really, and when they go through this, they know what it is. Tell me about John and how your husband John's gone through this and how he's sort of helped keep glue together. What has he done, and how is his relationship with you and the kids? How's things changed now?
I think we're much stronger as a family. John has been the glue holding this family together. He's a very strong person, but when you see your baby hurting, it's hard. There were emotions, but I think our family has really grown from it. And I would never say, I wish we hadn't been through this, because the strength that we have, the way our family has grown, has been incredible.
No one wants anyone to be ill.
No.
But you know, God all wants us to be healed permanently, and I think that's so special about this healing power of love, that even sometimes, you know, modern medicine and whatever cannot heal physically, but we all promise that we're all going to be healed someday. Now, someone was telling me that John enjoys dancing. Can you tell me about his dancing prowess?
Well, he has something special he does with Ashley Kate, and they've done this for as long as, you know, she's been in the world. He'll pick her up and he'll dance with her. And right after we got the cancer diagnosis, she looked up at him and said, "Daddy, will you dance with me?"
I guess he did.
He did.
Yeah. Well, that is so special, because I think that's one thing that she's going to have with him forever, you know, dancing with. But it sounds like your family has been dancing with a higher power here. And it sounds like you've been able to touch a lot of people from Iraq to all over through this website. You know, we hear so much about bad in this world, you know, how things aren't going well, and, you know, we hear about the economy, we hear about health care and how everything's up in arms. But I think that this lets us know who is really in charge of the universe. Now, there's probably mothers out there that also have children that are sick, and some of them might not have diagnoses. What would you have to say to them?
Keep pushing. Mother's intuition is everything. You know your child better than anyone. And you know if something's not quite right. Keep pushing, keep asking. If one doctor doesn't have the answer, go to another one. Right. If we hadn't pushed, then it may have been too late for Ashley Kate.
Because you had a very narrow chance to resect the entire tumor and save chemotherapy. And I think that's sort of a miracle in itself. Now, I'm curious, I don't know the answer, this is cardiology. Is neuroblastoma something that runs in families, or genetic testing or anything like that needs to be done, or it just happens?
No, it just happens and they don't know why. It is it's a high reoccurring cancer, but it's a rare childhood cancer.
And it sounds like the sooner they find out about it, the better the prognosis. Wow, it just takes, you know, that dancing just takes my breath away when I think about, you know, how our Heavenly Father wants us to dance with Him every day, and how if we have that dance and that love that's involved and that relationship, it sounds like the relationship of the family has definitely been strengthened. Now I want to get back to the website a little bit, because that sounded like it was a very powerful healing force, mainly for you and your family. What was that website again?
It's caringbridge.org.
Caringbridge.org. And this is, now, if we have people that want to watch this program and go on to Caring Bridge, they can still see your story. Now, are you still posting and writing things and keeping updated?
I don't do it daily, but I do post on there frequently.
That sounds like it was such a large healing force in your life. I had another friend a few months ago that did something like that, and it was very, and you don't have to answer the same question over and over again. Everyone can just go to that site and sort of know what's going on and know what some of the needs are. This is a fantastic story. Wow, thank you for sharing. I know this was the easiest thing to do today. You know, it's hard to get in front of a camera, it's hard to share your life. But the reason it's important is because if we don't share love, if we don't share experience, others that might be in the same boat might not go to help. Because now you and your family will be treatments for other families that might need help, and they might go through similar crises. Well, thank you, Jill.
Thank you.
Well, it's about time for us to wrap up At the Heart of Health today. And really, at the heart of health is love, and love is a universal treatment. And I hope by this story, someone's been touched, and at least they know where to go help. And if your child's having symptoms, go get someone to help out. Don't say no for an answer, and turn to the real source of healing, God, for the source of love. Thank you for joining us. Hi, I'm Dr. James Marcum with your Daily Heartbeat. I have a saying I like to say, and it's this: it's at the heart of healing is love. Now, what would that mean, and what would that have to be with healing? But did you know that love is a way that we can change our body's chemistry? There's been studies done that show people that have animals, which could include a dog or a cat, if they have them, they actually have less heart attacks, less stroke, less infectious diseases, and even less malignancy. Well, do you think it's anything about these animals yelping and barking and meowing that changes the chemistry? No, it's not. It's the love that's shown between owner and manual. Likewise, we know that people that are happily married, if one of the spouse should suddenly die or get sick, that there's a greater likelihood of the other spouse developing a disease. So at the heart of healing is love. And love is one of the most valuable treatments we have to stay healthy.